Hi, good morning, everybody. This is Daryl Shergan. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I am Quest for Vape on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, and other social media. I used to smoke for 26 years. A year and a half ago, I quit smoking with the use of a little vaporizer pen, Ego Starter Kit, and I haven't smoked in a year and a half. I'm joined here today with Chipster Vapes up in Buffalo, New York. He contacted me a few days ago. He had some products that are very nice that he wanted to give away, and he wanted to pay it forward and help the vaping community. So we talked about it, and we tried to figure out a nice way that we can help the vaping community with this nice, generous giveaway that he wants to do, but also have an impact, as little or as big an impact as we can. So we're going to talk a little bit about advocacy today, the calls to action, the things that are going on right now. We're not the experts. There are people who are far more eloquent, far more knowledgeable, far more experienced about these issues, and they're dealing with them day in, day out. But the main message of this video is respond to calls to action for advocacy. Now, this is what this video is about. Chipster, how you doing? Introduce yourself, by the way.
How you doing, guys? Gals, too. Chipster Vapes. Live outside Buffalo, New York. And nice to have you. Thanks for having me on, Daryl. I really appreciate it.
Well, it was an awesome thing that you wanted to do, and hopefully, with the little bit of audience that I have, we can just share a little message of what a couple of guys are doing to help stir the pot, just expand the knowledge of what's going on, and drive people a little bit of an incentive to take the calls to action in their local area and nationwide for vaping advocacy. But Chip, there's a few things going on right now. And before we even go further, let's talk about what you want to give away. Have you got them there?
Yeah, sure. Just a little background real quick. Vaping has saved my life, just like Daryl. I smoked for 26 years. I do have a family and I'm married, and finally made the jump. And I've been fortunate enough to quit. It's been almost 14 months for me. And I'm going to be middle-aged soon. So I definitely won't go back to cigarettes, and vaping saved my life. So along the journeys here in Buffalo, we do have a real tight-knit community, and we're fortunate enough that we do raffles and try to keep things local. So I got in on a few raffles and won a few things. And as far as my ungodly collection that I have, I just wanted to pay a few things forward, and I guess the best way to do that would be to try and get you guys a better incentive. So I had a few things to start off. I had an Opus DNA 200 sitting around. Hopefully you guys can see that pretty good. It's a 1,000 mAh device if you don't know. It does run eScribe. Unfortunately, Apple hasn't caught up yet, so you're going to need to actually be able to use this on Windows. It does. It is a true. Pardon?
Very nice. It's a 200 watt DNA 200 device. That's gorgeous.
I also will throw in, it didn't come with it, but I will throw in a charging cord for it. I unfortunately don't have the box. Again, these came from raffles, so that way when you do get it and win it, you'll be able to get on right away and mess around with eScribe. The next one we have here is a black SX Mini, the M class.
Hold that up a little higher, a little closer to the camera. That's the SX Mini. That thing retails for about 130 to 150 bucks.
Yeah, again, it's very gently used. Again, it was, I won it in a raffle. It also come with the black sleeve as well. And finally, I finally got myself into the RTA craze, and I'll say I love the Griffin. I have had some issues with building because my hands are so big, so I love it. But we also I won in a Steam Crave, the Aromomizer, the RDTA. It does come with the Velocity style deck, already with it, the 2-post, and it is unopened. This is actually brand new, so that's awesome. That's what I got, and hopefully this will help at least get things started.
That's an awesome giveaway. So there's going to be one winner. And here's how you win. You have to comment down below in this video, give it a thumbs up, thank Chip for his generosity, and then in the comments down below, say what you've personally done to support advocacy and defend the rights of vaping as you know it right now. For yourself personally, what you have done. Fair enough. That's how you win. And then in 3 days, I'm going to do a random comment picker from the comments below. You're going to have to show me proof when you win. If you're the winner, you're going to have to send me like an email of like a screenshot of your response from Governor Brown, or your calls to action responses through CASA. Whatever you did in advocacy, well, you're going to have to prove that you actually got off your ass and did something. See, all right, so moving on, there's some things right now that we want to make people aware of. There's California with SBX2-5, and Chip's going to talk about that in a minute. That bill passed in the House and the Senate, and the only way that bill is not going to go forward as it is written right now is if Governor Brown of California is made aware that enough people want that bill changed. And Chip's going to talk about, why don't you talk about what is it that is so harmful about that bill? There's some good stuff in it. There's some harmful stuff in it. What is the danger to vaping?
The biggest thing is that doing some research, again, we're not professionals. There's actually two of them, the SBX2-7. That actually takes the legal smoking and vaping age to 21 years or older, as well as the employees that work in the vape shops now that fall in the criteria of being 18 to 21 years or 18 to 21. They now lose their jobs until they're 21. And a lot of the shop owners are worried. These are these kids' first jobs. They want to be able to have a good experience with it. SBX2-5 now clumps everything together as tobacco products. Every product they have, as far as e-liquid, electronic cigarettes, is all now basically a tobacco product. So now they can tax it as such.
Now, the insidious thing about this whole thing, listen, nobody wants to see kids start smoking. Nobody wants to see kids start vaping. I'm a parent. I have 3 daughters. I don't want my kids to start smoking or vaping, and they understand damn well, because Daddy explained to them, the only reason I do any of this stuff is because I was dumb enough to be a smoker. We don't want to see people targeted for kids, but what they're doing is using, oh, we got to prevent the kids from getting into smoking. But then what they're really doing, this whole agenda, is so they can tax everything vape related. Which, hey, listen, I'm sure people don't mind paying a reasonable tax on things, but then your cotton, your wire, your everything, your flavorings, your things that aren't even tobacco. And then the next step is to really start cutting and limiting and regulating, and then making the industry smaller and smaller, more restrictive, eliminating juice companies. We don't know where it stops once it begins, and that's the problem. So we can't allow vaping to be defined as tobacco, because it's not. And that's the biggest issue. So the only thing that's going to stop that one from getting passed is if Governor Brown is contacted. And I'm going to put his phone number down below. I'm going to annotate afterwards, but it's 916-445-2841. If you're in California, if you travel to California, if you have family and friends in California, if you go there on business, if you go there on vacation, if you think you might go there in the future, you're entitled to go ahead and express your opinion. It's very important that we fight these battles, even if it's not where you live, because the big bad wolf's going to be knocking on your door where you live in the very near future. Chicago, we can't do anything about. They passed that one, right? There was a. Why don't you talk about that, Chip?
Yeah,
you're a little more research than me.
Just general reading yesterday. As far as I know, it's not the whole state of Illinois. It just ended up being the actual city of Chicago. And what they ended up doing is they passed the law that now makes smoking and vaping 21 is the legal age. But yet the catch-22 to the whole thing is the people that actually sell the product, whether it be cigarettes or it be anything vape-related, can still be 18 years old. So it really doesn't make any sense. But that's, now again, that's just the city of Chicago. This isn't.
It's kind of like serving alcohol. You can't drink alcohol, but you have to be 18 to serve it. That's not a big issue. I don't really personally have a problem with it. I started smoking at 17. I found ways to buy cigarettes. Kids are going to fight. I shouldn't say kids. They could go fight in the armed forces, but they can't smoke. They can't vape. I don't want them to smoke. I don't want them to vape. But if they are a smoker, I want them to vape instead of smoking. I think there was a tax in the city of Chicago, and Mark Vapin Fagan was talking about a tax that got instituted as well. It doesn't take effect just yet, but still, this is the future of vaping is going to be more taxes, more restrictions, more regulations, and then who gets to stop whatever, whenever anybody wants to go ahead and cut something out of our lives vaping related. Can we talk about a victory right now?
Yeah, sure. Go right ahead. You want to talk about it, or?
Yeah, down in Florida, the FSFA, Florida Smoke-Free Association, who is a dedicated organization supported by the community of vapors and the vaping industry in Florida, has been very successful. They killed the Florida HB 1143, which was a ban on indoor smoking and vaping, and they are very, very active in Florida. They killed 2 bills last year, and again, I think that these things, it's not a black or white yes or no issue. If there's a bill, it has to be rewritten so it's fair to vaping and doesn't lump us in and put all restrictions on vaping that don't really need to be there. Yes, everybody as a vapor is concerned about kids smoking. We also don't want people indoors to be subjected to things they wouldn't normally, but we also want to have our rights protected. So like in vape shops, being able to vape inside of a vape shop is an important thing, or gatherings and meetings, or in one's own home. So Chicago, unfortunately, can't be saved. Florida, that was a win. Let's not let California fall by the wayside. And what are some organizations, groups, things that people can do, join, to be made aware of calls to action, take calls to action, and just participate in general? What are some of those groups and organizations, Chip?
Well, the biggest one is CASA. If you haven't joined CASA, please join CASA. Whether it's our own state, Daryl and I live in New York. It could be Pennsylvania, it could be Florida. I mean, it could be Mississippi. Please, they'll definitely keep you in the loop when there's calls to action.
And that is CASA. That is CASA. It's spelled CASAA. And you go online, CASA.com or .org?
I'm almost positive it's .org.
I am a member. It takes about here's what you do. You join, you subscribe to the newsletter, and then you put your information in there. So what happens when there's a call to action, you get an email. And then since they already have your information, there's a form letter. You just click, 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 and it sends out this form letter to your legislative representatives in Senate, House, congressmen, anybody related to a specific issue. So you don't have to sit there and type out the letter unless you want to. It's always good to personalize, but they do the work for you. You just need to click, click, click. It takes less than 2 minutes for a call to action, so that when there is something in your area or an area you're concerned with, you just go on CASA because you've been notified through your email. Also, they have these little cards that give you the facts about vaping, the real facts. So when your family and friends and loved ones tell you, oh, I heard that's dangerous and worse than smoking. Yeah, I understand, and I thought the same thing, and then I read this, and you hand them this card, and they can read the facts, so you don't have to sit there in a 45-minute argument, and you can get those for like $6, like a whole bunch of like 50 or 100 for like $6. They also have T-shirts and stuff. You're supporting them, but they hire attorneys. They also keep aware of all the bills and all the things that are happening with regulation, and they get it to you so you can respond in a timely manner and have an impact. That's important. What about not blowing smoke?
Not Blowing Smoke is notblowingsmoke.org. They're another national. Well, the easiest way to get a hold of them, I guess, would be to go on Facebook. They are a closed group. They will definitely invite you in. They're another great group. And again, they're all about advocacy. They're the ones actually that have been keeping mostly SBX2-5 alive. I see a lot of posts come through quite a bit during the day from them as well. Just, hey, a simple phone call, please, call Governor Brown. You don't have to live in the state. Every phone call, it might be busy for an hour. Everything's going to help. You'll get through. Just a simple phone call is all it takes.
Yeah. And they're a little bit more social media,
more driven. Yeah.
And they do videos. I think this whole thing came up when the state of California, in an effort to try and save their asses because they can't balance their budget and they were going bankrupt because they're not getting tobacco revenue and they can't handle their state revenue bonds they issued. They came up with this whole campaign of bullshit called Still Blowing Smoke, which was an attempt to say, look, big tobacco is trying to lure you into vaping instead of smoking, and it's not effective. Nobody quits from vaping. And then, you know, you guys should all go back to not believing any of this. That's basically how I summarize it. It's not the best way of describing it, but it's a bullshit campaign that the state of California came up with. And then a bunch of advocates and people in the industry and the community in California created Not Blowing Smoke, and to bring the real truth about vaping to people who would lie about it. And some of the Still Blowing Smoke campaigns, which is the negative campaign, they are so far off base, and it's so insulting to see the bullshit they come up with. They even recently used Rip Tripper's faux pas and error in judgment as an excuse to make oh, look, the biggest guy in vaping says that vaping will kill you and it has problems. It's just like they exploit everything they can. So notblowingsmoke.org is a way of fighting each one of those lies as they spawn. So get involved with that. And they're also probably the main driving force to get people right now to call Governor Brown in California. And there's a lot of YouTube personalities who are very active with Not Blowing Smoke. What else can we talk about? Oh, I want to talk about Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania has the same thing as Chicago had, and the same thing that California is facing right now, with a 40% tax on all vaping products. And here's a fella, where's this guy? This fella up in Pennsylvania actually has a call to action right now. He wants everybody in Pennsylvania to do a 10 to 30 second video clip and email it to him. And he's going to put together something to send to Governor Wolf, I believe it is. Yeah, Governor Wolf in Pennsylvania. And that's on the table right now. And the governor of Pennsylvania needs to be made aware of his residents in Pennsylvania's concerns for this. So, and you can get in touch with him at vapingforpa@gmail.com. Send a quick video. Find him on Facebook. I'm going to put a link down below to his video. I thought that was pretty cool. You want to watch this? Let me show you. Oh, he's got it. It's a YouTube video.
Budget tax imposed by Governor Wolf is back. 40% tax on all vaping wholesale products. But I'd like to use that social media outcry. Last year, you guys signed petitions, went out to see legislation, and calls with letters. It's absolutely fantastic. This year, what I'd like to do is compile videos. So, over the 10 seconds to 30 seconds, if you explain what vaping has positively helped you and how vaping has positively helped you. This video, I'd like to do this is a fight we need help with. This is not something that
and you can find him on YouTube. His channel is called Vape Crusaders. I think that's a great idea. Here's why I brought that up and showed that, because this is what one guy's doing, and he's going to put together a clip. That's what he's doing in his creative ability. Here's what two guys are doing: a guy in Buffalo, a guy in Long Island, a giveaway on a social media channel and outlet. What can you do with your friends, with your vape shop, with your vaping community, with your social circles in social media? What can you do to bring attention to these issues as they happen, and to get people to do something? Because we can all sit around like the three little piggies and wait for that big bad wolf. And we can all run from this house to this house to this house. But as you know, that big bad wolf came knocking, and the three little piggies was not a fairy tale. So do you live in a straw house? Do you live in a wood frame house? You're not safe. You got to take action. You can't wait for the other guy and somebody else to do it. You're the guy. You're the gal. You do it. And it takes all of us. So if you like vaping the way you like it right now, you're going to have to do something about it. Anything else to add, Chip?
I guess real quick, thank you definitely for having me on. I guess one quick last thing, I guess, and this goes for everybody as well. Please, you always see, especially now, I vape, I vote. Please, if you're not signed up to vote and you're 18 years old, please, you enjoy vaping, Thank you for not smoking cigarettes. If that's what it's going to take, I'd rather everybody vaping than smoking. But you have to go. You have to be registered to vote. It's a big one. I watched it in my local election this year. A lot of the local vape shops did sign up a bunch of people. Unfortunately, there were, I had heard personally some excuses. I couldn't make it, or, was my vote really going to count? Please, every vote matters no matter what, especially if this is a big election year, and it does matter.
You got to vape. If you got to vape, you got to vote. You got to make your voice heard. Your voice counts. Think of it this way: a crowd of people whispering is a louder roar than one person yelling. Okay, guys, Quest for Vape, Daryl Shurgin, joined with Chipster Vapes over here. Again, the giveaway is for a Opus DNA 200, which is a very nice. What would that cost retail if somebody were to buy that, even used?
Actually, when it first came out, the local vape shop that I usually go to had it for $229. As far as used, I don't even really know anymore. So
more than $100, and it's a DNA
sure.
200 device. Then you
Sure.
got the SX Mini M Class. That's a classic
retailed,
device.
that retailed for $199, and that came out just around a year ago, around this time, I think. But still, again, it's a $100 mod, probably used. Sure.
Plenty of people would be happy to get their hands on that. Hey, real quick, let me see, because we do have we had up to over 33 people watching this.
Good.
Bear with me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Russell Broken One, Paul Lemire. He's in Australia. They've got bans going down. It's all over the world. It's not just here in the United States. The UK, Europe. Yeah. Can't sit here with blinders on. Let's face it, tobacco as an industry has been around for hundreds of years. They've been defending themselves actively for generations. They know how to go about it. It's not their first rodeo. For us, it's our first rodeo, but we got to organize. Okay, that's about it. Thank you, everybody in chat, for getting on here live and all your comments.
Spread the word, please, about the giveaway, please, for sure. Yeah.
Spread the word. And again, to win that giveaway, it's going to be one winner. You have to comment down below what you do to take action in advocacy. All right, I'm going to end this now because we got the True Vapor Show coming up at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and that's on ST Vapes channel. Chipster, thank you very much for your generosity, your passion for vaping, and your love for the vaping community, and for putting this out there to do as a giveaway.
Yeah, thanks, Daryl. I really appreciate it, and good luck to everybody.
What would you rather do more than smoking right now?
Vaping.
Let's take a vape.
All right. Let's get a vape and we'll get out of here.
Bye, everybody.